Is this the end of Manchester United, guys? Of course, we know they've had an embarrassing season, finishing in the bottom, I'll say quarter of the Premier League table. They lost the Europa League final in a dismal game to also terrible Tottenham Hotspur. And they've gone on tour to Malaysia and they're getting booed around the world. The vibes aren't good. Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, isn't been seen as a great leader, as a new minority shareholder, but he's a sporting controlling guy, and it's not looking good. Basically, they're in financial trouble. They've got what I still call a good young coach in Ruben Amorim, who's been very honest. To the Man United fans' credit, they've supported him really, really well. But their captain, Bruno Fernandes, could be on the way out to Al Hilal in Saudi, and he really has been the shining light in this turbulent time in the last few years, and of course, sort of the beacon in their sort of peculiar success in winning the cups under Ten Hag. And indeed getting to the final. I know they lost it in the Europa League and it will be forgotten, but getting to the final. Now, there will always be this philosophical question: should you have a sort of main character syndrome? No, that's unfair, because it's not his fault. A main character style, a hero ball style footballer in a mediocre side, does it make you better, or actually is it an element of hindering you? There will be that discussion, but we're going to react to the story today. Guys, welcome back to Football Yannick, daily content here on football. Thank you to all the new subscribers, and the old ones, and thank you to those that support the content by liking. It's the road to 20,000 subs, hopefully by the time the summer ends. So if you want to help me reach that target, I'll be very, very thankful. And with that being said, let's get into the content. So, context. So that man Dave posted on X some of Bruno's stats at Manchester United, his career to date by numbers: 290 games, 702 chances created, 182 goal involvements, which is very good for 290, 98 goals. Shame he didn't get to 100 goals, isn't it, really? 84 assists, very, very good. 2 Player of the Season awards, 2 trophies. Of course, them being the FA Cup and the League Cup. Yeah, I mean, he gets a lot of stick from opposition fans. He does flop about. He does get the arse, but he's a winner ultimately. And before we speak about the story of him going to Saudi, a little bit more context of why I think he works so well at Manchester United. Let me just sip my coffee and clear my throat. Better. He came from Sporting and he was the main man in that team. And then he joined Manchester United. And because Manchester United at that point was still not good, even though Manchester United, the biggest club in England, he could come from the Portuguese league and be like, these guys aren't that good. I can remain in my status of the main man. And he was plug and play as the guy, and it worked. And it afforded him the opportunity to be the best player in the team still and play, like I said, to a degree, hero ball. And I want to be very mindful here. When I say that, I'm not coating off Bruno Fernandes. I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. He wants to win. He's a very good player, and therefore he's taking the game, or the team, should I say, by the scruff of the neck. But does that help Manchester United? Does that mean Manchester United as a club, as an institution, have built themselves in such an optimized way that lends itself to success? No. You've built a crap team and you're relying on a guy who's trying to patch everything up, and then the team around you sort of well, yeah, we've got this guy, It's not the best way of doing things. You could say my club with Chelsea with Cole Palmer. There's been times when they relied too much on Cole Palmer, though I don't think the team around him are as bad as Man United. There are exceptions. Again, to reference the team I support, Chelsea. We've had really good Premier League winning teams, Europa winning teams, with Eden Hazard in, that were really good around him as well. So he was the hero ball guy, but the quality of the team was still really good, and the managers were still really, you still had Antonio Conte coaching Chelsea with, Courtois in goal, and freaking Matic and N'Golo Kante in the midfield, and Diego Costa up front, etc., etc. But with Man United, not good stuff surrounding a good player in Bruno Fernandes. So yes, The Athletic writes this. Laurie Whitwell, Bruno Fernandes giving serious consideration to Al Hilal approach. And yeah, let's just read and I'll give you my thoughts. Fernandes is giving serious consideration to an approach from Al Hilal, with talks continuing in Saudi Arabia. They're trying to pull off a major transfer by recruiting the Manchester United captain, whose agents have flown to the Middle East for negotiation. The outcome is uncertain at this stage, but it is felt Fernandes has not ruled out the prospect of leaving Manchester United. The deal, according to people familiar speaking on the matter, and I've spoken anonymously, of course, is for a 4-year deal, 25 million euros per year. So a 100 million euro salary. Al Hilal are said to prepared to pay Manchester United 80 million pounds. So what's that? Just under 100 million euros. Fernandes, who's 30 now, lest we forget, seemed to open the door to a possible exit after stating after the final, if the club thinks to part ways to do a cash-in, to do some cash-in, football is sometimes like this. He slightly changed the tone after the United victory against Villa on Sunday. I'm just a very lucky guy living the dream of one of the best clubs in the world, in the best league in the world. What more can I ask? How about 100 million euro salary? Ooh, actually, I like that. Can I have that instead? That looks quite nice too. That's what more I can ask. I just have to give it my all for my teammates, for myself, yada yada yada, for my fans, everyone who's been through the moment with me. And boy, what a moment! Amorim has been adamant that he wants Fernandes to stay. He said this quote: "He is really important for us, and we want to build a team. We talk about this many times. You can see by his performances, you can see by his leadership, you can see the passion he's got for the game. In difficult moments, Bruno is the guy who takes responsibility. He should do, because he's the captain." Yeah. United are relaxed about the situation, and Fernandes has been an example in Malaysia and Hong Kong. He's fully committed to the fans, graciously in supporting the young players on tour, thinking about all that money he's going to earn in Saudi. Habibi! There were similar noises about a departure last summer, and Fernandes later admitted that he thought about leaving, but he ultimately signed a 1-year extension to his contract to 2027 with an option for an egg. Okay, so he's got really 2 years left in his deal, 1+1, but that will become 2 when United are negotiating a sale. They'll say it's 2 years, he's worth more money, because we'd obviously activate the further year, so he's worth more for a sale. United's financial picture is even more difficult than 12 months ago. However, due to the absence of European football and the club, people at the club believe the failure to qualify for the Champions League is a significant factor in Fernandes' thoughts. Yeah, because it's not even like he's staying to play in Champions League glory. So, yeah. There's also a feeling internally that should United entertain Al Hilal's bids, that might invite European teams to the table. Maybe, but one thing I'd say for sure is that that no one's going to pay as much as Saudi. So if Manchester United are truly wanting to sell Bruno Fernandes broadly because he's going to make the money, they're going to sell it to A, the club who gives them the most money, and B, the club that he's not going to dunk on them against them. And if we know about Man United players going elsewhere, they often play a lot better, McTominay, title winner, MVP. Rashford had a lovely time at Villa. Antony, I know he's a bit quiet in the final, but he was an icon for Betis. Even Sancho, Sancho's been much maligned, but he's getting double digits for assists at Chelsea. He scored winning goals in the Premier League for Chelsea, like whippers. He scored in the final, a great goal. So, he's got a goal involvement, I think it's over 1 every 3 games. It's not amazing, and he's gone quiet at times, but it's better numbers than Man United. So Man United won't want to see him in Europe probably, and they'd probably go for a Saudi bid, because they're not going to get 80 million anywhere else for him. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. The thing is, there's 2 ways to look at it. Excuse me. Everyone's saying they're screwed, they're losing their captain, they're losing their only good player. The truth is, if they bring in a striker and they have behind that striker Matheus Cunha, Mason Mount, I genuinely think Mason Mount fits the system well. They have a left wing back, Dorgu or a new guy, right wing back. They find a way to make Ahmed work again as an attacking right wing back. They've got a good team there, and then they've got money to reinforce from the Bruno sale. I was saying to my mate who supports Man United, different scenarios because Chelsea were a lot better, but when Conte came in and played a three-back system, he converted a winger into a right wing-back in Victor Moses, Ahmed Diallo. He brought in a low-profile, conventional left wing-back from Serie A in Marcus Alonso. You could say Dorgu. Do you know what I mean? Like you bring in players to fit the system, cheap players or repurposed players, and then you pull the money. You know, we bought a Kante. Maybe he's got the money to buy a proper midfielder, and he'll need a goalkeeper, won't he? And if they do the rebuild sensibly, and this is a massive if, because you have to trust Man United to do a rebuild sensibly. I'm not sure they can do that. But if they do that, then ultimately it might be the right decision to sell Bruno Fernandes. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Please do leave your thoughts on Bruno Fernandes to Saudi. I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts on that. As always, thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And I hope to see you back here soon. Peace!